Hello dear friends! Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about all of the books that I bought in Europe, all the books that I read while in Europe, and along with all of the other beautiful things that I ended up buying for my friends and I as gifts, along with one of the big buzzwords of the world right now, my Louise Carmen journal that I finally got. Very excited. I will say, originally I was trying to do an entire like travel vlog. I was planning to do like the separate countries that I went to, because I went to Portugal, I went to Spain, Italy, and then France. But unfortunately things didn't go as planned. I'm so upset. You will see a lot of the footage here in this video because I refuse to let any of that go. Part of the reason why I do my vlogs, especially when it comes to like regular vlogs rather than just sitting down and talking to you guys, is because it's for me and my friends and my family to look back on as well, but also to share with everyone, obviously. But I'm so upset because while I was in Lisbon, Portugal, I visited 3 different bookstores and I had a grand time. It was like the one day that I ran away from my family and I had so much fun. But I went to the oldest bookstore in the world and I went to 2 of the other English bookstores there. I'll tell you all about that, and I'll put in the clips obviously, but unfortunately the audio that I used with the microphone I had just did not work. I didn't want to try and salvage any of the it's very, very bright outside. Very, very bright. I think the UV's at 5 today. So we've all put on our sunscreen and I feel all glowy and dewy. That's what it was. It was horrible. It was horrible is what I'm saying. But I've decided to kind of mush everything all together. I had multiple different like video ideas regarding my little Europe summer, but I think I'm just gonna mix them all together just because I feel like rather than making a bunch of different content, I will sit here and tell you all about it as once. So pretend that we're on a FaceTime. Go grab your drink, go grab whatever you want to do. Put me on while you're cleaning your room, whatever, I don't know. But yes, thank you so much for joining me, and let's go ahead and start yapping. Okay, one of the first things that I'm going to start to do is actually talk about all the books that I read abroad. I brought my Kindle and I refused to bring any physical books with me because I knew that my luggage would be full. And it was. I think I brought over a dozen books. Some of them are my friends, some of them are mine. I think in total for myself, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 10 books. I was trying to limit myself to 6, and I ended up bringing 10 for myself. And I believe I have another 3 that I bought as gifts for my friends. But regardless, I read most of my things on the Kindle. And I also actually tried out an audiobook. So let's go ahead and look together. I'm gonna go on my Goodreads because God knows I kind of remember stuff. Okay. I see. Okay. So the first book that I read while heading over, I started this book on the plane and I ended up finishing it on a bus ride. And I'll actually put the clip eventually. But the book that I read, and I rated it 5 stars. I need to preface something. I did not know this was the same author as The Fourth Wing, and yeah, I do know that they were Zionists, and I actually didn't know until after I completed the book and looked at other things that they've published that this is who that was. So by no means do I support this author. Unfortunately though, I don't want to go through the entire ethics because I feel like everybody here on Book Talk kind of already understands where I'm getting at. I have the Kindle because I've had this Kindle since 2017. I was gifted Kindle Unlimited, and it's unlimited. I did not buy this book by any means, rather than just using the Kindle Unlimited subscription. The entire ethics of it, I'm sorry. But I do have to admit that it was a good book. That book was The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. I read it. It was recommended to me by my manager, okay, I need you guys to know that I thought this was going to be a thriller. I thought this was going to be a horror novel, and I did not know because I don't like reading the synopses of books. Well, I do, but I didn't. I went into this completely blind, so I did not know this was a romance, and I did not know how much it would scar me and hurt me. The Last Letter is a love story between 2 characters, obviously, between Emma, who is a single mother of 2 twins, and then Chaos, who is her older brother's best friend, who is in the special forces in the military, and they become little pen pals, and from there they like fall in love, and it's an entire thing. If you do plan to read this book, I won't tell you anymore. If you don't plan to read this book, that's totally fine, because I did not know who the author was, and I feel pretty horrible. But I finished it, and I thought it was I have to admit, it was really, really good. But besides that, that's all I really feel comfortable trying to promote it, because I don't really feel comfortable promoting it. But I will say that I did that. I read. I will say that I did read it, and I had a good time with it. And actually, I'm gonna insert the clip that I had, because I ended up finishing the book on a bus ride in Lisbon while I was by myself, and the woman beside me saw me crying. I'll show you now. Hello, dear friends. Okay, I'm just gonna share a quick experience that I had on the bus. I love people, and I love public transport, because for one, there was this woman and her baby sitting across from me, and the entire time before like she put the baby like to sleep, I kept making faces, and I would go, and the baby would look at me like, it was so cute. But also, continuing on, I'm 77% way through with the what is it called, with the last letter on my Kindle, and I started crying because it's a really good book. And beside me, the woman sitting next to me sees me crying, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's a really good book." And we started talking about all the different books to have, and it was a lovely conversation, and unfortunately got cut short because I'm almost here. But she was so sweet, and I talked to her about finally being able to buy the paperback version of Sally Rooney's Intermezzo, and how I'm almost done with this book. I've literally only been reading it for like 3 days, and it's almost done. And she immediately put them both on her Kindle, and I'm so excited that I met her. It was a lovely, lovely interaction. That being said, I am wandering aimlessly. I'm almost at the final bookstore that I'm coming over to, but honestly, guys, I'm having a grand time. Okay, let's find this store. Anyways, besides the entire dilemma right there, that was the first book that I read while I was abroad. The second book I read, I believe, I did the follow along between an audiobook and then what was on Kindle Unlimited. This book was only novel, really. It was only 38 pages long. It was called Abscond by Abraham Verghese. I really hope I'm pronouncing those names right. I apologize. And this is a quick, like, coming of age story of Ravi, who has kind of a complicated relationship between his mother and his father. He loves his dad because his dad really supports him in what he wants to do in being like a professional tennis player, but his mom is very much like, no, like, you need to be a surgeon and I want you to succeed in life. And he's kind of going through this dilemma of like, well, I love my parents, except like I wish my mother supported me more. And it really is just like a quick, cute, not really cute, a lovely story that did make me tear up, because Ravi kind of has to but he kind of has to grow up quicker than a 13-year-old boy should. But it really talks about the community and like the family around the situation that happens. If you guys really want a quick read, I do recommend it. It was lovely, it was sad, and it was nice because I sat on a train. Guys, I love European transit. I was sitting on a train going uphill to a monastery, and it was like a good hour long like audiobook and read, and it was just perfect. It was perfect. I was sitting up there enjoying the views while listening and kind of reading, and I had a grand time. So that book was definitely lovely. I don't really feel comfortable giving it like a good star rating, but if I had to, I did give it a 4 on Goodreads. I think I just contradicted myself, I'm sorry. But it wasn't anything totally brilliant, but it was a nice heartwarming story. It was a good read overall. Alright, and on to the next book that I ended up reading. I bought this book while I was in Barcelona's, I believe, largest English bookstore, called the Carmen bookstore, and it was absolutely lovely, and I ended up buying 4 books. I made an entire TikTok about it, which is a lot of fun, by the way. Editing short form content is interesting to me, but I had a great time. That aside, though, I did pick up 4 books. And I will show you them all in a second, but the one that I read while I was in Barcelona, it was a very quick read. It was 4 essays, I believe. It's only 114 pages, but that is On Friendship by Michael de Montage. And I gave this a 3-star rating. While I did enjoy some of the philosophy behind it, let me read exactly what I said, because I was reading it, and yes, there are plenty of beautiful quotes in here that I ended up highlighting, a lot of things that resonated with me and how I like viewed friendship and kind of like fatherhood and all that stuff. This man is a raging misogynist, and granted, this was written in the 1500s, I believe, the 15th century, 1580. I don't want to say that older views of misogyny and thinking women cannot like conceive the idea of friendship the way that men do with each other, and how they're only meant for, like, it was incredibly interesting to read. I had an okay time reading this. It was a quick read. I rated it 3 stars because I felt weird rating this like star wise, just because it's more like essays. Not to say that I wouldn't critique anyone's essays, but like this is an old piece of literature. I'm not gonna lie, I did buy it mainly because of the beautiful penguin cover. But there were some things that resonated with me, some things that I enjoyed, but also it was really hard to enjoy the philosophies when the author was constantly reminding you that, yeah, actually, I don't think women can think the way that men do. Anyways, that aside, this was the 3rd book that I ended up reading while I was in Europe. And then the 4th book I ended up reading was One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serrell. This was also another okay book for me. I read it while I was in Italy. So fun. Let me read the synopsis real quick in case I don't want to... Okay, yeah, it literally tells you. Once again, especially when it comes to books on the Kindle, I read this on the Kindle. Especially when it comes to books on the Kindle, I don't typically read the synopsis behind them. I kind of just blindly choose, or I choose books that I know stuff about prior knowledge. But if it's things I haven't researched at all, I don't really care to try and find out more about it, just because my Kindle's old. It takes it. Besides actively reading the book, the UI of it is crumbling and dying. So, full transparency, I just download the book and I hope for the best. But One Italian Summer it's a book about grief. It's a book about love. And you followed the main character, whose name I do not remember, Katie. You follow Katie in her kind of like navigation of grief after she lost her mother, who to her was her best friend. She was her everything. That was her soulmate. It was like her entire world crumbled, and so does her marriage, kind of. She has issues and talks about how her and her husband got together very young in college. They married young, and it felt like they didn't go through any rough patches, so she didn't know how to handle this. And before her mother had passed, they were supposed to go to a trip to Italy together, and kind of a way to cope, she ends up going to Italy by herself, and you get transported into this magical world where she finds her mother again. And it's a very interesting story. I really like the premise of it. I will say, it's not meant to be a romance novel, at least to me, it didn't feel that way. But she does kind of cheat on her husband. I don't know how, you know what, it's my channel, I'll just tell you right now, I'm gonna spoil some of it right now, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't click to me that it was time travel. That might be on me. I thought, how do I explain this? While I understood, because she meets her mother as a younger version of herself, so that makes sense. I thought this was more of a different reality thing rather than going back in time. But it does make sense. The time travel thing does make sense. So she kind of cheats on her husband emotionally. No, she does actually cheat on him. She cheats on her husband with this guy, Adam, in the hotel that she's kind of like sat at to kind of cope. But this is in the past. And I'm going to try to stop explaining. I gave this book a 3 stars. While the ending did tie it all in pretty well, and I enjoyed the way it ended, no, I really did love Katie's character. I thought she was okay, but also the way that she not only handled speaking to her mother's younger self, but also how she handled her marriage. It did upset me. But it wasn't a horrible book. To me, 3 stars doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means maybe it doesn't personally resonate with me. I'm not super excited to read it or whatever, but I had a good time. I read it while I was in Italy, and while I was in Rome and not in any of the places that the book was set in, it was nice. It was a nice read. But yeah, those are all of the books that I read while I was abroad. I did actually attempt, and I'm going to talk about it right now, because technically this would have been my 5th book that I was reading abroad, is I picked up Perfume by Patrick Suskind? I'm not too sure how to pronounce that. I'll find out one day. I'm so sorry. But I did pick up Perfume, and I've heard beautiful, amazing, enticing raves about this, and I know for sure this is a 5-star book. This actually might be a 6-star book for me. I am really just a girl who enjoys things that she enjoys, but this, what a brilliant novel. I'm not finished with it yet. I believe I'm already on part 2 though. Yes, I'm 137 pages in, so I believe I'm kind of halfway through. And wait. I sincerely apologize for this big roller coaster I'm taking you on, but we are gonna jump from bits to bits to bits. Originally, I was just gonna talk about all the books I had, but I feel like talking sort of in a linear sense is also good. So here I am, and we're gonna do a Louis Carmen tour. I'm so excited, guys. I saved up so much money for this, and we're just gonna open it up. I have been obsessed with the smell of the leather. I had a grand time. I'm so happy. I'm gonna put the pictures here. My mom took pictures of me while I was in the workshop. It was so wonderful. And hold on, let me like, I was gonna ask if you guys smell it, but you can't. It smells beautiful. Here is my Louis Carmen notebook. I ended up getting the road book size, the medium road book, and I also ended up buying a portfolio. So I will admit, this was $300. This is $300 in my hand. But do I have any regrets? No, I do not. Because when's the next time I'm gonna be in Paris to buy a Louis Carmen? I'm so happy. I'm so incredibly happy. I would also like to say that I ended up doing a lot of research on a bunch of different traveler notebooks. I saw videos comparing, the Louis Carmen to the Paper Republic, and even the Traveler's Notebook, and even the Filofax. I think it's called the Filofax. I would like a miniature Filofax, I believe, for a wallet one day. But besides that, I did a lot of research because I was wondering if I was just kind of jumping into another like obsession and trend. But in reality, I'm already deeply in love with this. I did get it personalized. We'll look at the charms right here. I do plan to buy or like find other charms besides having what they had in the workshop, but I got this beautiful charm here. I ended up getting this is the newest brown color, so they didn't have anything to show what it would look like when it aged. Originally, I wanted to get the blue, but I feel like it ages too dark for me. It kind of turns into black. And I wasn't too fond of it, so I ended up getting this. But I did get a beautiful red band. I have this beautiful Noculus, the shell right here. And then for my engravings, the story behind this is it says breathe in, and then when you open it, it says breathe in and then breathe out. And the reasoning behind that is because I don't even know where I saw this. I believe I saw it on the Wild Yeast podcast, maybe. I'm not too sure. I'll link her down below. But I saw this quote one time saying that reading is like breathing in, and then writing is like exhaling or like breathing out. And that's resonated with me ever since I heard it. It's been like a few months, but I really just loved it. And I was like, okay. I was kind of battling between whether I wanted to put my initials, maybe like my YouTube handle, because I like the name Komprehension with a K. I do like it. I think it's quite clever and cute. But I did end up settling with breathe in and breathe out, and I have no regrets. I'm so I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself for saving up the money. I'm having a grand time with it. But this is my Louis Carmen notebook. I ended up getting the blue portfolio to kind of like cope with the loss of not getting the dark blue leather cover, and that's okay. I know I'm definitely gonna put a bunch of stuff in here, but I did buy this on the final day of my trip, so there's not too much going on right now. But from what I do have, I have the 3 notebooks that it comes with. I got 2 dotted and 1 plain. The first one right now, by the time I don't think my friends even watch my videos, so it's okay. But the first notebook I have between the portfolio, I believe I'm going to use kind of as a commonplace book. It might just be a list book as well, because I ended up writing the list of things that I bought for my friends, which I'll show you guys later. And I know I'm definitely just gonna throw in a bunch of stuff of like commonplace, the quick things to have, you know. And then the second notebook that I have in here, I have chosen, and I've had this made up for in my mind a long time. I have my reading journal, and it's just begun. I'm gonna be writing down everything that I read, and then I want to think deeply about the things that I read. Even if it's not that deep, I want to fully like breathe in the stories, you know what I mean? So I have my reading journal here, and the first book that I have logged on here is Perfume, and I wrote all of this in the plain. Along with, I know definitely that I'm going to, I still need to search all these words up. I'm so excited because I know that with a lot of the more classical literature, I'm gonna find more vocabulary, and not to say that new modern books don't have that, but I'm very excited because I'm also planning to write down all of the words that I don't know so I can expand my vocabulary, along with, once again, reflect on the things that I loved about the book, the things that I disliked, and with that, I can look in here and talk to you guys every time I do a little book review. So we're gonna can you tell I'm really excited, guys? We're gonna do that right now about Perfume, and let me read through my notes, because okay, I ended up writing a quick like kind of review, not review, but yeah, I guess I'll call it a review. I started writing 100 pages into the book, and I know I'm gonna write afterwards to kind of reflect on how I enjoyed the book, what I loved about it, what I didn't. But within the first 100 pages of Perfume, you get immediately attached and immersed in the world. And granted, the world in question is literally just like Paris in the 1700s, I believe. So in my head, I have a very vivid imagination. I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of picture the world as Les Mis, because it's Paris. I would like to say I also had a great time reading it because I was in Paris, and it mentions a lot of the streets and like the neighborhoods that's in Paris, because it's set in Paris. I was in the book, guys. How exciting is that? But anyways, I know I wrote a lot about how beautifully poetic the book is. I believe that Patrick's prose are just phenomenal. I think on the back in the synopsis, it literally says that this is a book of poetry. And if you guys like flowery writing, this is the book exactly for you. And don't worry, I need to admit though, because I'm kind of torn between how much I love flowery writing and like, you know, big words and like, you know, fancy poetic prose and such. And I do really love it, but I think in situations such as on Friendship, I hated it. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was dramatic. It did feel like a man mansplaining to me. But the way that Perfume is written, it's written in such a way that everything is so perfectly like described in such vivid, amazing detail, from the scenery to the emotions of the characters, and especially like the scents. I know that the majority of the things I'm going to learn in my vocabulary like bits on this are just going to be different flowers and herbs that are mentioned in here, because Perfume, the story of a murder, you were following this kind of oddball child, I'm so sorry. That's how you spell it. Sorry. You follow his story, but you also jump around from other characters' perspectives. The first one begins with the nun sort of caretaker explaining to the priest that, hey, this child is freaking weird. He doesn't smell like anything, and I think that's insane. And then jumps to the priest's perspective, where it's just like, what's wrong with you, woman? I don't understand. Like, just take care of the child. No? Okay, fine, give him to me. And that's when the priest also realizes, he's like, wow, it's like this baby can't see me, but he's smelling me, and it feels like gross and animalistic, and it's disturbing. So he pawns him off to someone else, and it's kind of just like I don't know really if I could say a coming of age story, but it truly is like a big adventure. The stakes in this book are so incredibly high. There's this passage, maybe it's like 2 to 3 pages, where our main character, who has an impeccable sense of smell, like it's insane, he's so obsessed with trying to smell and find all of the aromas and create more aromas, and he latches on to the smell of something, and the way that it's described, it's I believe they use the word literally, like as he catches on to the scent, it's like a silk ribbon. What a beautiful way to describe things, right? It was amazing. But anyways, I am like, and I love this book so much. I'm having a wonderful time. But continuing on with like the flowery writing and like the descriptions and like, you know, the story itself is also pretty quickly paced, which I think definitely helps, because I truly feel like I can imagine the world and I'm following it. I'm following it like perfectly. It's beautiful. But one of the things that I really, really love is the use of metaphors and similes. And that sounds kind of like juvenile of me to say, like, oh, I love the use of metaphors and similes. He's so poetic. But I ended up, these 3 are just quotes that I found like amazing. Like, they might seem kind of like basic, because you know what they say, poets just kind of say things are like other things, but it's like, yeah, that's the point, and it's amazing. And I'll read out one of them to you. So one of them is, he knew the only reason he would leave the shop would be to fetch his clothes from Grimmel's, and then never again. The tick had scented blood. It had been dormant for years, encapsulated, and had waited. Now it let itself drop, for better or for worse, entirely without hope. And that is why Grenouille is so certain. I'm so sorry, I can't pronounce the name. Hold on, let's do this together, guys. Because my sibling kept correcting me, and I know it's just because I'm reading it in a certain way that's confusing me, but I know you could just say it like the way Ratatouille said, right? Grenouille, Grenouille, Grenouille. Frog.
Falling into a new season.
Bonjour, we are looking at how to say grenouille.
Grenouille.
Nouille, nouille, nouille. So I-double-L is like a Y.
So that's a lot of fun. Now I know that his name means frog. His name is actually Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, but isn't that fun? Wow, and this is why we search things up. Never be embarrassed to look into things again. Wow, how fun. But it's such a small comparison, but I think I had a wonderful time reading it. I'm not even finished with it, guys. I'm already raving on and on about it, but I definitely think that this is going to be a 5-star read for me, a 6-star read maybe, seeing how much like I love it. I ranted to my sibling about it on the plane. I was having a great time. But anyways, that is kind of my tour so far with my Louis Carmen notebook, along with all of the books that I read abroad. I know I definitely will be doing a journal ecosystem tour someday eventually. I think I'm definitely going to do it when I break into this more, when I kind of fill out the pages, because I know that there's going to be more books besides the Louis Carmen that I use. But those are all the books. This is my Louis Carmen, and now we're going to talk about all the books and all the gifts that I bought. Okay, sorry about that. I got myself together. I'm going to do my very best to go in order of all of the bookstores that I went to, along with the books that I got there. And while I don't have clips for every single store that I went to, I have some, especially in Lisbon, Portugal, which is where we're going to start off on. I went to the Salted Bookstore very first because it was the furthest away from everything in the center of where I was. But that is where I got these 3 books. The one that I'm most excited for is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, because here in the States, we only have it in the hardcover copy right now. And I'm pretty sure sometime in September, it'll probably come out in the paperback, but I do thoroughly enjoy and love the look of the Euro cover, which is this beautiful blue right here. I have been dying to read this book, and it took everything in me to not like take it out and read it while I was abroad, just because it's a thicker, physically like thicker book. But this is Intermezzo, which I only bought for $12.49. Do you see how gorgeous this is? This is beautiful. I also ended up picking up The Cost of Living by Deborah Levy. I was very torn between her other two books that she had to offer. I think it was Things I Don't Want to Know, and there was a red cover. I don't know if I have the video of it, but I was really torn between picking any of them up. But I ended up picking up this one just because the synopsis ended up like speaking to me more than the other two, which is totally fine. And once again, I don't think I'll this isn't a book review. This is me just showing you all the books that I have, because if it were a book review, I would have to read them. And also, like I said before, I'm not a big synopsis cover reader. To better explain, I do read the synopses of all of the books while in the store, and then that's how I choose, because I do want to read the books that I choose. I want to pick up books that I would love to read. But after that, now they're my physical TBR, and I will forget about them, and I will pick them up blindly. Within the 16 books that I bought abroad, the Intermezzo is the one that I know the most plot-wise. I do know it's about two brothers, and they're either grieving their father or the other one. I'm pretty sure it's the father. Yes, it is two brothers grieving, and that is all I know. That's all I know about this book. That's it. I just know that I love Sally Rooney, and two brothers are sad and they're grieving their father. That's all I know about it. But yeah, I picked up Deborah Levy's The Cost of Living, and then I also picked up The Philosophy of a Home by Manuel Coquia, Domestic Space and Happiness. I really love the cover of this book. What more do I know about it? I hope it's the philosophy of the home. I am slowly getting to more philosophical things. Can I tell you anything about what I certainly align with? No, not yet, because I have not expanded my horizons enough. But the Salted Bookstore was beautiful. It was gorgeous. The hike there was absolutely treacherous though, because it was hot and it was uphill. And when I got there were like only two other people there, but it was a lovely atmosphere. Unfortunately, I was too late to hit the cafe there, but regardless, I'm very excited to read these books, and those are the 3 books that I got in the Salted Books. As for the second bookstore that I went to in Lisbon, it is the very, 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 not notorious isn't the right word. It is the famous Livraria Bertrand. Livraria Bertrand. It is the oldest bookstore in the world, guys. I entered the oldest bookstore in the world, and it was beautiful. It kind of felt like a maze. It just kept going on and on and on and on, like further backwards. While the selection was absolutely wonderful and broad and amazing, I need to admit I wasn't too in love with the English selection that they had there, but clearly I think I got one of my best gems in there, seeing as I got perfume, which I bought for myself, and I really do love the Penguin Modern Classic covers. I think that the kind of teal color is so chic. I think it's so cute. And let me see if I could show you actually. I've been highlighting this, yeah. I've been highlighting it in a similar color. Absolutely lovely. I had a great time. I also ended up picking 2 gifts for my friends. This one is The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa. This book, and actually the author, is a very, very well-known, well-renowned Portuguese philosopher, poet, author, and everything. And he is the man who coined the term, or kind of made up the idea of heteronyms. Not synonyms, but heteronyms, which is basically this man was obsessed with his OCs, his original characters, and insistent that they were their own people, despite them kind of being snippets of him. A lot of his books and poetry collections and stuff are written by his heteronyms. So technically, while this is written by Fernando Pessoa, it is also written by, let me see his name, Bernardo Soares, which is in the introduction of the cover. And I believe Bernardo is the one that Fernando felt was the closest to him in terms of his heteronyms, his like OCs, his characters. And I did read some of this. I attempted to read. I tried to finish it, but I only got 70 pages in, just because it is very thick, flowery words. It is philosophy, and while I did resonate with a lot of the things that I was saying, I wasn't really in the mood to kind of read all of that. I'm not saying it's a bad book, but I am saying that I didn't finish it, and that's okay. But this is a gift for my brother. I feel like he would quite enjoy it. This is a linear story, but I also want to say that if you do read this, it kind of reads like the Bible. Not in the sense that it heavily focuses on religion or anything like that, but it's more of like journal entries, and the way that they're not numbered weird. It's just like in numerical order of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Kind of in a way to me, when I was highlighting things and like finding passages that I really enjoyed and that were like profound and beautiful and deep, I ended up marking down the journal entry of it. It kind of reminded me of like trying to read the Bible. You know, you're like Leviticus 18 billion thousand. I don't know, but that's this book. I had a great time kind of trying to read it. It's just too thick for me to it's not what I'm in the mood to read right now. But that is that book. And then I also ended up picking up The Ministry of Fear. The reason why I picked this up is because it is set in London. The Book of Disquiet is set in Lisbon, and then this is set in France. And even though this is set in London, I really wanted to pick up stories that were either set or written by people of the country of origin. So these are these books. What do I know about this book? It's set in London. Oh, wow. The guy kills his wife. Oh, Mercy kills his wife. Yeah, very interesting. Very cool. I picked this up because I thought one of my other friends, my friend AJ, would enjoy this. So here it is. This is the other book I got at the oldest bookstore in the world. I had a grand time looking through everything, and I actually sat down in a cafe and just kind of cooled down because it was really, really hot. But those are all these 3 books that I bought there. I think I've lied to you guys, and that's okay. I think that's okay to lie to you guys just a little bit. I am going to not skip. Now we're going to talk about the next bookstore that I went to in Lisbon, which was the Good Company bookstore. I really, really like it. I like their tag because it's just called The Good Company or Good Company. But what I didn't know was that their catchphrase was books make good company, and it was lovely. Their store was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was a cafe. It was a bar, and there was also a place downstairs that I don't believe I filmed. But they had a wonderful, gorgeous selection. It was more in the city area of Lisbon. It was such a treat. It was wonderful. I had a great time there. And there I ended up picking up all 4 of Ali Smith's seasonal books because I've heard so many good things about them. And at the very least, even when I'm in reading slumps, I want to have something to read each season. I believe it starts with autumn, which is what I'm going to read. I've decided to hold off on summer and just read that next, or when summer comes next year. But I did end up picking up all of these covers because I have not seen these anywhere in America. And also, look at them together with me. Look at that. Oh my, hold on. I'm going to show you each individual one. Here's autumn. What? Okay. Then we have winter. Gorgeous. Spring. And summer. Aren't they lovely? These are beautiful. These are lovely. I ended up buying these books, and actually I might have lied to you, and I think I bought The Cost of Living. Yeah, I believe I bought The Cost of Living at Good Company bookstore. But that's okay. I guess it truly doesn't matter because they're here in my hands right now, and I'm in America. I'm in the States. But these are the 5 books that I bought at that store. What can I tell you about all of the seasonal books? Nothing. I have no idea what they're about. At some point I knew what they were about, and now it's been too long for me to remember. Let me read the back of this. Daniel is a century old. Elizabeth, born in 1984, has her eye on the future. The United Kingdom is in pieces, divided by a historic once in a generation summer. Love is won, love is lost. Hope is in hand with hopelessness, and seasons roll around as ever. Literally all I know is that this is in the UK. That's all I know, and I just know it's about the seasons. And I know that it probably has beautiful prose, and I'm hoping that it lives up to my expectations, seeing as I bought all 4 of them. Yep. And these are all the books that I bought in Lisbon, Portugal. Okay, next we're gonna jump all the way and go to, I believe this was in Madrid. I think this was in Madrid and not Barcelona, Spain. I'm gonna show you my journal spread for it, and let me actually go through all of them right now real quickly because I just want to share them. While I was abroad, I also have picked up or tried to re-pick up my junk journaling, which is lovely. I haven't done anything for Italy or France yet, and if I do, I might post them. Who knows? Who cares? But this is what my spread looks like for Lisbon, and I wrote myself a letter explaining all of the things I have in here. The next page is another thing of Lisbon, which is all the things that I bought. I went to a Muji store. These are all of the book thingies I got here. I have, this is from the Good Company, the oldest bookstore in the world, the cafe, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This one was in Madrid. My family and I took a lovely photo there, and I picked up a bunch of beautiful things. And then this is the Museo del Prado, the National Beautiful Museum. These are all tickets of my family's, like, our entrance thingies, and this, it was a beautiful museum there. And from there, I did pick up Susan Sontag's On Women. It is a collection of essays, and I'm quite excited to read this because, admittedly, I thought I'd found the gift shop. I love collecting postcards and I love art, so naturally I was trying to find them, but I couldn't find it, and all I found was the bookstore there. And I thought, well, I'm gonna walk away with something no matter what. So I ended up picking up this. And then I found the actual, like, souvenir shop. Oh well, I don't really mind. The back does entice me, you know. On Women brings together Susan Sontag's most fearless and incisive writing on women, a crucial aspect of her work that has not until now received attention that it deserves. So very nice. So I picked this up there. Picked it up here. How nice. How lovely is that? And then I think the last thing I got here was, yes, this is Barcelona at the, does it say the place here? Admittedly, my trip was a blur, guys, but this is the final spread I have, which was in Barcelona when we went up to the monastery. Look how nice. Look how cool. I don't have anything for Italy or France, and that is okay, because this video has already gone on long enough. And admittedly, my voice kind of hurts. But not the final bookstore, but the second to last bookstore that I went to was in Barcelona. Yes, it was in Barcelona, Spain, and I went to the Carmen English bookstop where I bought these 4 books. The shop there it truly is a very large bookstore. They had a wonderful collection of fiction, of nonfiction, of a children's section for like YA books. They had a lovely collection of Penguin classics where I bought the On Friendship. I also ended up picking up this beautiful cover of Catcher in the Rye because I've been holding myself from buying one here in the US just because I've already read the book. I borrowed it from a friend, and it's like, I can buy it anytime. I don't need to read it anytime soon. But look how classy. Look how chic this is. I love it. It's a wonderful copy of Catcher in the Rye. And while I do love the US cover, I get to say that I bought this in Barcelona. And when I get to reread the book, I will have a grand time with it. And then I ended up picking up this book for my friend Sammy, who wanted a copy of Frankenstein. This is the paperback cover of it, the Penguin edition. Very nice, very cute. I love Pixel. And then I went back and forth trying to see if I should spend more money, and I did ultimately, was where I bought Notes on a Crocodile, translated by Bonnie Hui, by Chi. I'm not gonna try and pronounce it, I'm sorry. I've heard many amazing things about this. I've not seen this cover in the US, nor have I seen any copies of it in the US besides like on Amazon and such. So when I saw this, I gave in. What do I know about this book? Nothing. I'm pretty sure it's a queer coming of age. Misfits, love, friendship, artistic affinity, while hardly studying at Taiwan's most prestigious university. I've heard many beautiful things about this, but besides what I just read to you, I don't know, and I'm very excited to read it, and I will be happy to review it to you guys once I do. But that was at the Come-In bookstore. And the final one that I went to, which I have no footage of at all, because they actually ask you to not film, but I will put up pictures and everything, was the Shakespeare and Company in Paris, France. My voice is going away. Pardon me. Real quick as well, while I talk about, I'm gonna show you guys the tote bags that I was given. Book walking is my cardio. Very cute. I got this while I was at the oldest bookstore in the world. And then my souvenir, because I actually didn't buy any books for myself here, which I do regret. I ended up buying a book for my two sisters and then my friend Eden, who speaks French. And her one request was something of the Petit Prince, and I bought the French copy for her, and I know that she's already very excited for it. So I'm very happy that I got this for her. On the inside, they do stamp it, or they put a sticker to prove that you got the book from there. Oh, look how cute! Look how lovely. Very cool. But I bought this book for her, and as a souvenir for myself, instead of buying another book, because God knows I already have enough books, I got the Shakespeare and Company tote bag, which I think is beautiful and brilliant. And before I end this vlog, I'm also going to show you guys once again, because I completely forgot. Yeah, I completely forgot to show you guys. But along with that, the oldest bookstore in the world also does stamp your books for to authenticate that you bought it there, which I think is just it really makes it so much more exciting. I did write a letter for him, but there's that little stamp. And then I have one in here as well. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? I will put the names of all of the bookstores that I've mentioned in the description down below, just in the case that any of you guys end up running away to Europe and chasing all the books of your dreams. But I've definitely yapped for long enough. Thank you so much for sitting here and listening to me talk. Please tell me any of the books that you guys recommend, if you guys had any fun summer plans, or if you've read any of these books and if you have any input on them. Warn me if I'm gonna cry, actually. Please tell me. But those are all of the things that I read, all of the things that I enjoyed, and all of the fun souvenirs I bought. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and have a lovely day. Bye!